They make up over 60% of Liberia's population. They drive the economy. The power of the health sector kept the education. Most of all, they cement peace and unity. It's time for them to talk, word talk with genuine expectation.
Join Edward Tamba every Thursday from 6 to 6:50 p.m. on LNTV.
A pleasant welcome to another edition of Youth Talk on the Liberia National Television. I'm Edward Tamba. This program brings you young people's stories about young people that are transforming the lives of the country's youthful population, and of course we bring you the faces behind those transformative stories about young people, making sure that every young person is part of the development and the peace process of Liberia. So that's why Youth Talk is designed. So today we bring you another set of guests to talk about their developments, their programs as young people, to talk about what they are doing to making sure that they enlighten young people, to keep young people in a state of development, in a state of education, so that our country becomes better for all of us. So when we come back, we'll introduce our guests on the show tonight on the program. But stay tuned. Right after this break, we'll be right back, and then we introduce our guests on the program. Stay with us.
The youth are the pillar of our existence. They make up over 60% of Liberia's population. They drive the economy. The power of the health sector kept the education. Most of all, they cement peace and unity. It's time for them to talk, word talk with genuine expectation.
Join Edward Tamba every Thursday from 6 to 6:50 p.m. on LNTV.
So welcome back to the show. Welcome back to Youth Talk on the Liberia National Television. So I have in studio tonight two distinguished young men from the United African Organization for Literacy Development. And I have Khalifa. Dunor is the Chief Executive Officer, the founder in studio with me. Khalifa, welcome to Youth Talk.
Thank you so much. I highly appreciate the opportunity given to us again. This is, as we have always been, I highly appreciate that you have given us this platform again to talk about our programs and then the progress that we have been making, the impacts we are making in the lives of young people of Liberia.
Okay. So I have Henry Harris, is the program manager of the organization. Henry, welcome. This seems to be your very first time on the platform.
Yeah. I actually highly appreciate the effort you made getting us to your platform. We are very, very grateful.
Okay. Let's start up with you, Khalifa, since you're the Chief Executive Officer of the institution. Just remind us about what United African Organization for Literacy Development is all about. In just a few words, let's get to know what is it about.
All right. So, as our motto says, educate and protect. It just define everything that we do, because we are implementing the mandate of ensuring inclusive quality education and access to justice for children and youth across Africa. So currently we are based in Liberia. We're doing more work while we have representatives in other parts of Africa.
Okay.
Like we spoke with the Secretary General before here on the same platform from Cameroon. So we are into inclusive quality education and access to justice for children and youth. That's what basically we do.
Okay, so you will go into all of the important parts of the other parts of what the organization is all about, but as something that you are doing very important for the development of kids.
Yeah.
Let's go through it. I know the program manager is yes, but just brief us a little bit. Then he will tell us a detail about what is it all about, what the essence of what you're doing with the kids that you call My Special Word.
Okay, so the first day when I think about the program, My Special Word, I feel how special I am first, and then I also think about how special these kids are. The fact that I am an older person I can think that I'm so special by just pronouncing that word, my special word, right?
Okay.
And then I think about how the kids. So this program is basically designed to help kids think about their values and how these values can be able to influence their lives. And this is done through comprehensive reading, where they select words that best describe them or who they want to become. So it's basically helping them to build value, build confidence, build high esteem, and that helping them to have that kind of moral and adopt the art of positive thinking and positive words.
Okay.
Yeah.
Henry, let's get back to you. Let's get to you, rather. My special word. How did the team manage to come up with a program, to get young children, to get kids, involved into something that motivates them, something that adds to their values, something that speaks to them about who they are? How did you reach to that level?
Well, nowadays, if you look around us, you find out that the youth population is growing. And then there are most kids in the street who are very, very vulnerable. Some of them, they are not in school, they are selling water. Things is not easy. So we sat down and designed this program with the help of Khalifa, who is the vision bearer. He designed a program to help children know what value they have within them that can, show to the public.
How difficult it is, putting kids together, making them to understand what their values are. Because if we talk about value, even the older ones, even the ones that are well inclined, they find it difficult to understand what their values are. How difficult it is getting those kids to understand what their values are by just pronouncing a word?
Well, from my past experience, it's actually been challenging, but then with the help of the facilitators who have been very, very patient, very, very persuasive, teaching the children the kinds of value they have, I think we are making great progress. At the start, we found out that most children, we found it hard getting them over, but now with the help of digitalizing the program, most children, they are getting involved. We find out every Saturday they want to actually attend the program, parents calling from here and there, if we even miss a day hosting the program. So I think it's going well, even though it was difficult from the start.
Khalifa, let me hear from you. How difficult it is, or rather, what's the reception you're receiving from those kids who are attending these kind of special sessions, talking about my special word? How are they coping with the sections?
Okay, like one of the kids called Success and my son as well. I was surprised one evening when I got back from work, and then he came to me and said, "Daddy, my special word is honest." Okay. So I got shocked. Okay. But then what do you understand about this word honest? Imagine my son is 3 years old.
Okay.
So I asked him, what do you understand about the word honest? And he said, by being honest, you can make people trust you. So I was like, wow. It means these kids are not just going because they want to go among their kids, their friends to go and play. It's not just because they see group around that they want to go there, but then they're actually picking, they are actually trying to understand, they are actually adapting what is being taught to them. And then you will see in the environment where they live that they have certain level of value, they have certain differences with their peers, no matter how they play, no matter what conversations they go in, they have certain limitations. There are certain words that would tell them, do not say negative words. It will shock you that you'll go into that community and then when you tell a kid, for example, you're crazy, that kid will tell you, uncle, you're rude. Okay. Uncle, you're rude, but you're not supposed to say this. They will be bold to tell you that. Because we told them, one, do not be abusive to the older ones. Know how to talk to them. We teach them how to talk to older persons, how to have conversation with their peers, what to say when they're having conversation with their peers, what not to say, what they can say to motivate themselves, what they can say to motivate their peers as well. And then we also tell them about when you are when you feel disenchanted as a child, what ways you can be able to tell your older ones that this one you did to me, I didn't feel satisfied with it, and at what time you should tell the person, because we also make them to understand that the fact that you can also get angry as a kid, older ones too can get angry. But then what gets them angry is not because you are a kid, but it's because certain words that are not supposed to be said, when you say it, and certain emotions that are not supposed to be expressed, when you express that emotion, it actually make you to lose your real self because of your anger. If I see an aggressive person who comes and slap me, that person should not turn me into them.
Okay.
Yeah, because if I slap that person back, that means I'm actually turning to be that person. I'm not remaining me, I'm the quiet person. If this person slaps me, I should remain that quiet person, engage them politely, so that they will actually see the real me and see themselves, so that they know the difference between they and I. So if you go in the community, you see that distinction between these kids and those other kids who are not on the program.
And I want us to dwell a little bit on, the community factor of it when it comes to the usage of words, the expressions of your emotions, especially with kids, especially with the societies we find ourselves, with the communities we live, where people say things, many people don't care whether the kids are around. They say things and just say them, even in the presence of the kids. How do you, mentor these kids to making sure that they are not cajoled into, at a very early age, they are not cajoled into saying those negative things, especially in the communities that they live?
Okay, so this is why we always do the community entry. Whenever we want to implement this program in this community, we do the community entry in a particular community. This community entry is not just basically asking the community to allow us to run the program there, but we're meeting with the stakeholders in the community to tell them, to be able to see how best we can be able to set up guidelines that will be able to govern the community as well. So let's say, for instance, I went to community A. I will go and meet the community chairman, the community chairlady, the leaders, influential people in that community, whom we know that when they take action or when they say this, people listening to them. So we call them and say, this is the program that we are about to run in your community, and this is how we want to run it. But these are our rules and regulations. So these rules must be applied to your community if you are interested in us running this program in your community. So the community leadership will tell us, yes, we are interested. So that is just the first step of the procedure. Now the next step, we come on to the parents. So if you want to register your child on this program, we have a consent form. Well, this consent form is almost like a memorandum of understanding as well. Yeah, because you, the parent, we will outline few words for you not to be said to any kids.
Okay, that's very applicable.
Yes. So we outline these words. This word is not to be said to any of those kids that are on the program, and this is what is to be said. This is the kind of emotion to be used on the kids, even if they do the worst things.
Okay.
Because what you do to them today is what they will do to the others. If a child made a mistake and then you slap them, they will get used to believing that anytime a child makes a mistake,
someone else does the same thing,
if someone else
beat on
does,
them.
you should beat on them.
Okay.
So we say, if the child makes any mistake, your first approach should be asking, calling them first, understand why did this child do this thing, what was their understanding about it that caused them to do this. Because we believe that everybody has reason for doing what they do. So even if the child is 1 year old, a child will place his hand to the fire because he has different understanding about the fire. More than you or the older person. You have not experienced, he has not experienced it, so he has different understanding. Probably taking that fire to be a cold water, so he can place his hand in it. When you have experienced the fire, the moment you see it, you know that that's fire. So if the child places his or her hands into the fire, your first concern should be, why did you place your hands into the fire? How did you see the fire? Instead of beating on the child and say, you're not supposed to put your hands in the fire.
Yeah.
So like that, we're trying to create an environment where the parents will actually bring the case up with a very good moral that they can be able to pass on to the next generation, because what we are doing is to prepare the next generation.
Okay. Henry, let me hear from you. How are the parents, receiving all of those, tutoring, tutoring the parents how to tutor their own children? Are they taking it in good faith? How are they receiving all of those, kind of lessons and sessions you are providing for them?
Like I said earlier, the parents, they wholeheartedly embrace the program, even to the extent they don't even want, they even wish we could add a day to the program, because we run the program once a week, every Saturday. So some of them even suggesting that if we can host the program like twice or maybe 3 times a week, they will really appreciate it. So everywhere we have carried the program, people wholeheartedly welcome the program, because what we rather do is we keep the children mind busy. Like the saying go to say, or idle mind is the devil workshop.
Yeah.
So once you find out the children are busy, they are, busy with positive things, you find out their mind will be drawn from out there.
I want you to explain to me some of the difficulties you've noticed about these kids. I know you want to paint a picture of, they are all good, they are all brilliant, they are all disciplined. Has there been any difficulty that you experience with any other case where you say, okay, they're a child, but they're a child, very high, they begin very high, then they get very high.
Yeah.
Paint that picture to me, let me hear it.
Okay. So some of the challenges that we have with the kids, we have some of them who are slow learners.
Okay.
Yeah, on the program. So you get to understand that before
slow learning in this case, it means the child is used to using this kind of bad words.
Yes, this kind of bad words. So behavior change doesn't just occur in a day. So what we do mostly is that if we know that you are a slow learner and then you are very difficult to pick up, even like when you read a sentence, you cannot easily comprehend that sentence. So we place you among the fast learners, because we want you to see the speed, how fast they are picking up.
How does that work?
Okay.
Someone who is slow and then
you place them among the fast
learners.
Good. So if I am a child, right, it's like each one teach one. So if I am a child, I have read this sentence and then I truly understand what this sentence is about, what it's actually trying to tell me. So if my colleague is hard to pick up, probably this child might feel inferior about me because I'm older than them, and then they might not want to ask certain things or say certain things. So we say, okay, since you have understood this part, work with this person, help them to understand this part of the book.
Okay.
So you see that the smarter ones will start to teach those ones who are slower to learn, and then they will start to actually pick up, because it's like my peer and I having a peer discussion, a peer learning session. So what my peer will actually tell me, I will be able to grab it faster than someone who is older than me, wherein I feel that if I go at a certain level of the conversation, I feel that I'm being abusive. So you'll get to understand that there'll be more free mind with their peers to have a free discussion. They can be able to express themselves more with their peers than the older ones. Though the facilitators are the kind of people who even want to be like, who want to come down to the age of these kids. Because that's how they teach.
We talk more about the facilitators, but Henry, give me a specific case if there is any at all. Has there been any instance where you notice this child that is particularly stubborn, that is particularly hard to grasp the lessons that have been taught in the sessions?
Yeah, it's always the case. Everybody won't be smart. I remember, I think there was a child who he always loved to use profane language. So one of the way I think we tried stopping was And then you want to use the F word, then the facilitator will say, spell what you say. So you find out he's not able to spell what he say.
Okay.
But then the positive word we're teaching, like hope, like faith, like strength, those are the words that he can spell. So because each time you want to use an profane language, the facilitator will ask him to spell it. So we find out that he's able to desist from it. You find out some kids they like nagging on their friend. You got your book, your friend got their book. Some kids will always love to
Read
know,
from
their
friend's book.
so these are some of the challenges we've been facing, but overall it's really been fun. It's been interesting, and I actually too can enjoy the program.
I know working with kids is it can be frustrating at times, but it's fun a lot of times. But what again the parents, right?
Yeah.
What are some of those cases that the parents, if not all of them, that they associate with the kids that they bring? Have you had any specific case that a parent came and say, hey, this child, this little boy, this little girl has this kind of problem that we need to solve it? Have you had any of that case before?
Yeah, we have had like 4-5 cases of such, where the parents will say, when we doing the evaluation, because we normally monitor the case in the communities as well, where when they go home, we normally move into the communities, like where they live, to see what they are actually doing in the community, to see what the parents are saying to them, how the parents are living, what environment they live in, how are they living, how these special words, like a child say, I am honest, my special word is honest. So we go into the community to see how you live in that word honest.
Okay.
Yeah. So during the community visitations, the parents, most of the parents tell us, this person did this one today, and this person has been like this person has been like this, and I don't understand this person. So it's actually because the diversity of the mindset is what brings these kind of complaints.
Okay.
Because if I am a kid, I grew up in an environment where from one day old, my father has been holding me like, you are a giant, shaking me up like that. I'm growing up to be that violent guy.
Okay.
I grew up in a community where I always saw my mother and my father fighting. I always saw the older ones fighting. I always saw them using the kind of abusive languages. Definitely that's who I'm going to be. Because the kids, they go by what they see and what they hear. So we actually understand, the moment the brain complain, for me, basically what we definitely want to understand is what specific attitude is this child exhibiting.
Mm-hmm.
So once you can tell me this,
they try to trace it to the parents. Yes. But is it always traceable to the parents? Because
not to the parents specifically, but the environment.
Yeah.
Their environment.
Yeah, they were I was wondering, because not everything the child learns, is particularly from the parents or from the parent. Mm-hmm. At times, because our societies, right, our peer pressure, even though they are kids, they may be 3, 2, 5, 6, 7 years old, but they are still being influenced by society one way or the other.
Yes.
So maybe many of these things will come because the society they live in, the other friends they mingle with. Have you guys been taking notice of these kind of things?
We have several toxic environments.
Okay.
Like I said, when we go to do the monitoring to the communities, we see the kind of toxic environments, and then this is where we actually want to establish a program.
Okay.
We always want to establish a program in a toxic environment to make sure that the kids that are making the environment toxic, they make the community the best one.
Let's talk about the facilitators that you use. What sort of facilitators you use? What kind of persons are you using? How do you even recruit them? How did you recruit them to the program?
All right, so the facilitators are basically volunteers.
Okay.
These are people who have dedicated their times, who have been so patient, who have putting away personal gains and interests. And because of the potential impact of the program, the leave their even the jobs that they do to earn their daily income, to earn their daily income, right? They will leave the job just because they want to facilitate this program. Like Fita is a college graduate.
Okay.
Yeah, Fita is a university graduate, but Fita always leaves her busy schedule, wants to be with the kid, and then she's someone who is somehow psychologically fit to manage it.
You
any
have
kind of
you have to be.
situation. Yes.
You have to be.
She's actually, because the kind of case that we recruit, if you not somebody who is mentally fit, you cannot work with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you have to be kind of patient. You have to be tolerant. You have to be diverse, because you have to understand that these kids are from different backgrounds. They are from different homes, and then do not discriminate. That's one thing that we mainly focus on. Do not discriminate. Nobody bully.
In the school, you brought these words out: discrimination and bullying.
Yes.
These are things that really get children, bad off. It reduces their self-esteem and all of that. Yeah.
So these are major rules that if you are a facilitator, will tell you: one, do not allow any of the kids to bully any of their friends.
Yeah.
You should not bully them as well. Two, no corporal punishment.
Okay.
You don't whip the kids because we don't want them to get violent.
Okay.
The next thing is, don't discriminate. Whether you have seen this child, whether this child is a sexual minority child, whether this child is a Christian, whether this child is a Muslim, whether this child is disabled or not, whether this child is from a poor family, wherever, whatever background, whether this child is rude to the highest extent, don't discriminate anybody. Put everybody, see them as one, see them as the future leaders. So you treat them as one people, and that's what they facilitate. They are kind of, I can't really be able to tell you how much I really appreciate how much I can't really describe their level of effort on this program, because imagine I'm taking like 8 hours a day to design my lessons. I'm taking this other time to be able to prepare assignment just for the kids, and I'm not earning a dime. Since last year, April, they've been running this program. There has not been a day where we took 5 librarian dollars and say, here's this.
Okay.
So the one thing that really blesses us is the resources, and the resources that you see available is because of a very supportive sponsor that we have, Dwight Smith. Dwight Smith is one person whom I cannot just get tired of telling him things, and the kids as well cannot get tired of telling him things. He runs this charity institution in the U.S., which is Thanks Be to God. He and his wife, Rennie Smith. So they are the authors of this book.
Okay.
So he produced this book, printed hard copy, even donated 6 pieces of computers to the program. Now we have about 10 pieces of computer coming up again, which will help us to start the online program. So, but the facilitators, the kind of time, the kind of energy that they bring, for me, you will not find a lot of young people, and we have actually found it difficult to get people of such. This is why the decentralization of the program has been a huge challenge to us.
Okay.
Because to get people to volunteer, it has been difficult.
Okay, Khalifa, we'll talk about that. I will bring you back to how do the institution discipline the kids while they are in session in a case of where they go wrong in the absence of their parents. What mechanism are you using along with their parents to discipline them so that they don't do the bad things that they did already? But we're going for this break. When we come back, we'll talk about that, and also we'll talk about other things that your organization is doing to making sure that the organization stands strong. Still with us, I'm Edward Tamba. This is Youth Talk on the Liberia National Television.
The youth are the pillar of our existence. The youth are the pillar of our existence. They make up over 60% of Liberia's population. They drive the economy. They power off the health sector, cap the education. Most of all, they cement peace and unity. It's time for them to talk, words talk with genuine expectation.
Join Edward Tamba every Thursday from 6 to 6:50 p.m. on LNTV.
So welcome back to Youth Talk. I'm Ezra Tamba. My guests on the show tonight are Khalifa, Dunor, and Henry Harris. They are all from the United Africa Organization for Literacy Development here in Liberia. So Khalifa, let me begin with you, and I want us to pinpoint the mechanism you use, all right, to kind of discipline those kids.
Okay.
In a case of wrongdoing, what do you do? What do you tell them? What do you tell their parents? If you're not disciplining them at the school, what do you tell their parents as to what mechanism to use as a disciplinary mechanism to stop them from doing what they did earlier?
Okay. So for us, we believe that when you are correcting the wrongs of the child, you should not be able to create another opportunity for them to be able to further do more wrong than you have corrected.
Okay.
So because if, like I said earlier, if I did something wrong and then you whip me, you feeling that actually the whipping you're doing is to change me, but then you put in another attitude in me that the next time if anybody does anything, whip them, don't correct them. Don't tell them, don't do this one, don't do this one. So how we do it is, the fact that we say we should educate and protect, everything that we do, whether punishment or what, is through an educative means. So if a kid is in class and then we say, nobody makes noise, right? If you make noise, we'll give you a book. So you go sit over there, read that book alone. When you get you with that book, or this page of this book, when you get you, come back to us and say what you understand about it. Because this is where we were reading when you were disturbing.
Okay.
So you go and read it. None of the kids wants to be taken away from their friends to go aside to go and read and then tell you come and stand. So they want to avoid that. So the moment you do that to one or two of the kids, you see they will tell you, don't cause noise again. Once another person, you come and go read. You come and go stand on that side. You won't come and go over there. So you will see that the moment the session starts, everybody wants to sit and be quiet until the session finishes.
Okay.
But then if we were taking a switch to say when you do wrong, we whip you, that time that kid was taken to be able to read that particular page of that book and come and tell us what they understand about it. They might be seeing it as punishment, but they also getting a lot because at the end of the day, after the punishment, you ask the person, they actually understand what is there. So that person is learning why they're being corrected.
I get that. But Henry, how are the kids recruited from their parents? You know, what do you do to get them to come to these sessions?
Like he talked about the community entry. First of all, we use the community leaders to advertise the program. We got a parents' consent form that parents fill to allow your children come. And also there are some rules and regulations like what we teach the children should be implemented at home. We can tell the children, say, don't use negative words, and then the child go home, and then you, the parents, using negative words. So we expect you to, follow up with the program. The program is actually free, so there is no fee attached to the program. All you need to do is register your children by filling in the form, and then once you fill the parents' consent form, then you just make your children available at the venue. So if we got one center in Tuporo, all you need to do is on Saturday make sure your children be able to come.
How long these sessions run for every Saturday in terms of time, hours? How long?
It run for the whole day. Let's say up to 2, 3.
That is, it starts 9 o'clock?
Yeah,
8,
that's
10?
supposed to.
From 9?
Yeah.
From 9 to 3?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's almost 6 hours? 6 or 7
because
hours?
we want to make sure that they remain. Saturday is a day where most of the kids will get associated with different kind of things. Not going to
Weekend,
school.
not going to school.
So we have to keep them always learning the positive things that when they come home, Sunday they're trying to get things done like assignments and
to go
other
to
things
school.
done to get ready for school. So there will be no much time that they will be able to go to other toxic friends that will make them to get the kind of bad influence.
How many centers are you operating currently?
So currently we have 3 centers operating. That is one in Tupo Road here, one in Police Academy, and another one at Kongwatan, YWCA, which is, we use the Case Education Engagement Program office, main library there in Kongwatan. I must firstly appreciate Brenda Moore, who is the Executive Director for the Case Education Engagement Program, who has given us the opportunity. So that's where we run one of the branch. So for that branch, all the kids that register on the program from town, from St. John Moravia, Congo Town, and then like the edge of Painesville, that is going to Congo Town that side. So they all go to YWCA.
Yeah, YWCA.
So the kids that will come from Somalia Drive, you start right at Police Academy.
Okay.
So the kids in Duboro, Rehab, Subatown, Red Light, they all come to Duboro, Calfee there.
Okay. How many, in terms of numbers, how many kids do you have attending currently?
So
from the 3 sessions you've just named?
Collectively, we have 80 beneficiaries.
80 of them. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
collectively.
That's a big number.
Yeah, from April to current, because we had new ones recruited of recent, so we have up to 80.
Okay. And how long these programs run for? In terms of months, weeks, you know?
So this program is a continuous program.
So it doesn't stop at all?
It doesn't stop, because why it doesn't stop, if I am living, if I am like 6 years old, and then you place me on a program that lasts for 6 months, right? And this program is helping me about moral, building values. But then behavior change doesn't occur in 6 months.
Okay.
If I have grown up in an environment, have been that toxic, and then have adapted this, to be able to change, I cannot change in 6 months.
But it says train up a child in a way when he or she grows up. So if the child is trained at 3 years, that training stays with the child.
It might.
Okay.
It might, because it's conditional.
I know.
If I am 3 years old, and then I have adapted this at the age of 3, but then at the age of 4, I'm in another environment and I'm practicing this. That's definitely what I'm going to be.
Okay, but the program is using these 2 books.
Yeah.
My understanding is this one is for 1 to 3 years.
Yes, no, from 3 to 6 years.
This one.
This one.
From 3 to 6 years.
Yes.
And this one is
It's from 7 to 15 years.
from 7 to 15 years.
Yes. This one is called What's My Word? And this one is called
My Special
Word.
Okay. So if the child is 7 to 15 years and they go through this one, maybe they just read it, they go through the session and they are done with it. Do they need to come back to the session to do what?
You need to come back, because this is just one of the books for the program.
Okay. So you have so many of them.
So many books.
You have so many editions of
so
it.
many editions of this.
Okay. Okay.
So we have a website as well called Booksmart, booksmart.com. So that website was also initiated by Dwight Smith.
Okay.
Right? So you'll see about 50 to 100 of these books on that site. So after this one, once the child completes this book, the next thing is to take you online to access the other books online. But what we do with the computers, they are restricted. They are specifically for one website.
Sure.
You cannot go to any other site. You browse any other site, it doesn't open, because we are trying to restrict the computers that the kids will not see the ads coming with porn and pornography and these other the kind of abusive things, so they can get distracted. So we restrict the computers specifically only for this website. So that's why we mostly buy the Chromebook. We buy the Chromebook, and then just go and do the setup, restrict them to specifically this My Special Word Booksmart website, where if you get through within this one, you get on another one. With the exception of this, we also have these what you call these collective books as well, from different experiences where you see people, different successful persons, like story books where people telling their stories about how they became successful, like the book of that talk about Martin Luther King, how he grew up. The great leaders, Muhammad Gandhi, it's called a scholastic book. So we bring these books as well. Once you get you with this book, we get to know that you have actually understood what this book is saying, then we take you now to these collections.
Okay.
So you be able to read these books, and then you actually understand that why indeed these are my values. Now this is who I aspire to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Henry, let me ask you, how are you feeling working with kids, you know, your experience working with them for the past weeks or months? What have you learned? What have these kids taught you about life? You know, what can you say these kids are to you?
Well, the kids, they are very, very much amazing. In fact, working with them, sometimes I wish I could go back in time.
And be a kid.
Yeah, and be a kid. Because they are very, very amazing. They help you learn new things. Sometimes when you make mistakes, and one thing I learned about the kids, they don't judge you.
Okay.
They treat you as a friend. So it's very, very much amazing working with them.
Okay. Khalifa, what are your experiences? I know we had a lot of things to talk about your career, but we've been overwhelmed with the fun about talking about these kids.
Word,
because the kids actually, they are fun, you know. If you haven't worked with kids, you will know how interesting it is working with them. You know, I've had experience working with kids at the church. I've had experience working with kids here, doing our just recent child broadcaster season for the kids. Look, it's fun, it's interesting, it's frustrating, but it's fun working with them. What's your experience?
It's actually been amazing. Very, very, very much amazing, because there are a lot of things I learned from them, even though they feel that I'm just the one teaching them, but there are a lot that I learned from them. Because one, I get to understand human from a different perspective, because if you look at the kids attitudes, it helps you to be able to have a better understanding of any other human being. If you can work with any kid, you can work with any other human being, regardless of who they are, what challenges they might bring to you. You can be able to handle it. Because imagine a kid, you cannot tell a kid, if you can tell a kid, you move from here, go there, and that kid will stand there and say, I'm not going. You can meet a stubborn child like that.
Of course, yeah.
But then you're not taking rather to whip the child, but then you find another means to make that child to move and go. You have learned something. That, okay, the next time I tell any other child, move from here and go there, if they refuses, I will not whip them. This is what I will tell them. So it has actually taught me a lot. It has actually helped me as well with my approaches to things. Because growing up, I had known that correcting children's mistakes should be whipping them. But when I started to get into this field, working with them, because for me, when I see tears from the eyes of a kid, I also want to roll tears. Yeah, that's what happens to me. So I always want to see them like, you want to smile in with me. I always want us to be like playing, hey, Uncle Khalifa, hey, my friend, you all right? That's how I want them to be. So in an instance where they do wrong, I always sit down and think, what other things can I do? So these experiences have helped me a lot. It helped me to grow more patience, more tolerance, more acceptance, to be able to understand human from a different perspective.
Okay, our time is fast spent, but let me come back to you, Henry, and that will be part of your closing comments as well. What advice can we give to parents? All right, I know. I'm a parent. I know Khalifa is a parent. I don't know much about you. What can we say to parents as to how to bring up the kids? Because mind you, the family is the smallest but the most important part of the society. What many of us learn that make us who we are today is not necessarily because we went to school or because we entered university. It's because of this regular Sunday school teachings at home, at the church, at various places of worship, guided by the family. What can we tell the family as to what are the best mechanisms to use to bring up kids, children, in our modern societies today?
Well, to the parents, what I would like to say, one thing you should understand, every child has a value. No matter their age, their color, their attitude, one thing you should know is every child has a value. So the best way you can make the child realize who they are is by helping them to understand who really they are. So we should always learn to use positive words on our children. We should always encourage them. Remember, children will always make mistakes, no matter what. So,
Even elders make mistakes.
yes.
Yeah.
So you should always be in a position to help them when they fall, and always teach them those values that will add meaningful experience to their life.
Okay, Henry, thank you, man. Khalifa, what can you say? What more can we do, to bring up our children in a way that they won't depart from those trainings?
So the first thing is, to the parents, what I can firstly say is, see the kid as you. Imagine how you wish to have been reared, right? What are some of those things that you wish that your parents could afford you? What are some of these morals that you wish that your parents could afford you to become the best person that you wanted to become? So when you think about these things, I want you to go back, sit in your closet, sit in your room, look at your child, think about who you gave birth to, think about whom you want them to be, think about what are the pathways that you can take them through. And one of the best ways is to build moral, build self-esteem, build value, build confidence. And how can you do this? It's one, motivate the child.
Yeah.
Correct their wrongs by telling them their wrongs, not by whipping them for their wrongs.
Okay. But gentlemen, it's a pleasure having you, and it is always, anytime you get into issues that relate to kids, to young people, it doesn't want to end.
Yeah, it's always the case.
But unfortunately, we've got to end this session on this edition. But Khalifa and Henry, it was really my pleasure talking to you. Talking about kids is really fun. And I'm sorry we couldn't open the lines for you, our viewers, sorry, for you to make your participation, because I know when it comes to kids, there are people who are sitting by the television right now. They want to call, they want to give their experience, how they are bringing their kids. We hope that we can bring these two young men next time to talk about this case, and we can open up the lines so you can give us your own experience, how you bring in your kids, how do you boys and the girls give you some hard time in your living room with your TV set and all of that. But it was great having you on the show. Until I talk to you next Thursday, my name is Ezra. Tamba. Do have yourself a wonderful, wonderful time. Bye-bye.
The youth are the pillar of our existence. They make up over 60% of Liberia's population. They drive the economy. The power of the health sector kept the education. Most of all, they cement peace and unity. It's time for them to talk words talk with genuine expectation.
Join Edward Tamba every Thursday from 6 to 6:50 p.m. on LNTV.
Everyone wants to go to heaven, but who wants to go now? Fast driving leads you to the great beyond, and the great beyond holds great surprises. Drive carefully. The life you save could be your own or that of a friend.